The martyrs. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. Galileo Galilei. This is an irresponsible quote because it does not warn the discoverer of the risks involved in the announcement of their discoveries. Conditions apply. Those discoveries that shake society's beliefs, which are theologically engraved onto each generation of social architecture, are highly perilous to the discoverer. Galileo had first-hand experience of the troubles that followed tremendous discoveries, so much so that he had to recant his expositions that were misaligned with the state's religion or religion state. Galileo expounded the idea of Copernican heliocentrism. The sun is the center around which the planets revolve. Heliocentrism was opposite to the view of the state's religion. Galileo was tried, forced to recant heliocentrism, and sentenced to house arrest until death. Unlike Galileo, Giordano Bruno never recanted his several ideas, including heliocentrism, that were contradictory to the state's religion. Bruno was tried and burnt alive publicly, gagged, naked, and upside down. It is difficult to empathize with the mental disposition of Bruno at the moment of being burnt at the stake. Bruno had nothing material to gain or lose. Neither the kin benefited. Had he no fear? His famous statement to the judges who formally sentenced Bruno to death is, "Perhaps your fear in passing judgment onto me is greater than mine in receiving it." As a supporter, it is a life wasted with no benefit other than for the narcissistic satisfaction of the rulers. But Bruno never recanted his ideas. Bruno is a martyr of science or free thought, and there were many before and after him. Socrates was forced to commit suicide by drinking hemlock because of his provocative topics and teaching style. He was condemned to death for impiety, godlessness. Hypatia of Alexandria, c. 350 to 415 CE, was a renowned mathematician, philosopher, and astronomer who led the Neoplatonic school in Alexandria, Egypt. She contributed significantly to mathematics, particularly in geometry and algebra, and made advancements in astronomy, including improving astrolabes and hydrometers. Revered as a symbol of intellectual freedom and rational inquiry, Hypatia became a target during a period of intense religious and political strife. In 415 CE, she was falsely accused of paganism and inciting conflict between the Christian bishop Cyril and the Roman governor Orestes. A mob of Christian zealots, led by a cleric named Peter, violently dragged her from her chariot through the streets. They stripped her naked, flayed her skin with shards of pottery or oyster shells, and dismembered her. Her remains were burned in a final act of desecration. Hypatia's brutal death marked her as a martyr for reason, knowledge, and secular thought. Fables should be taught as fables, myths as myths, and miracles as poetic fancies. To teach superstitions as truths is a most terrible thing. The child mind accepts and believes them, and only through great pain and perhaps tragedy can he be in after years relieved of them. In fact, men will fight for a superstition quite as quickly as for a living truth. Often more so, since a superstition is so intangible you cannot get at it to refute it. But truth is a point of view, and so is changeable. Hypatia of Alexandria. Most religions did horrific things to thwart opposition and enhance its own expansion. Some religions are doing it even now. It seems like the survival of religions is dependent on how hard the free will of the followers, in the name of reverence, respect, and submission, is hijacked or occupied. However brilliant the idea of an individual is, a stupid idea of numerous people could thwart it. Outnumbering is outcompeting. With time, more people are embracing technology and science. Yet even today, people could get harmed for propositions of ideas contrary to our beliefs. Any discovery that is in direct conflict with the state's religion, ideology, or belief had to wriggle out of the neurological rigidity and punitive actions. Many philosophers and scientists paid the ultimate price for their discoveries. Using blasphemy or heretic laws, the state or the public punished the rebellious proponents. The state, in general, has been unfair to scientists and philosophers who proposed any information contradictory to the state's theology, ideology, principles. Of what use is a philosopher who doesn't hurt anybody's feelings? Diogenes of Sinope.